Hello, this is Neil McGurk, Division Disaster Director with the American Red Cross. And the topic that we're going to discuss today is financial controls for direct client assistance. The purpose of this conversation is to define the financial control mechanisms for the disbursement of funds when providing direct client assistance to disaster clients. Within our fiscal controls, there are 6 functions. It's important to mention that each function must be performed by a separate person. That ensures that there is a separation of duties within our overall fiscal controls. So again, no more than one person or people can take each of these individual roles. So we're starting with the first function being the management of CAS 2.0 user access, followed by the management of financial instrument inventories. Number 3, performance of casework and loading of financial instruments. Number 4, management of casework, monitoring of direct assistance disbursements, and performing fiscal reviews. Number 5, compliance, and then followed by oversight and audit. Now we're going to take a moment to step into each one of these functions to talk about some of the key aspects of each. Function 1, which is the management of CAS 2.0 user access. Again, this must be completed by a separate individual from the other functions. And really, some of the main components of Function 1 is that this individual or group of individuals must maintain an understanding, a list of the individuals that have CAS 2.0 user access. What they also have to do is ensure that when an individual leaves the organization or steps away from a CAS role, that their user access within CAS 2.0 is removed within 10 days of that individual leaving. They also have a requirement of reviewing the log on a monthly basis to ensure that the list is being accurately maintained. The second function is the management of financial inventories. Again, new person, separate person from the other functions. This person or people are responsible for ordering and securing financial instruments. So at the regional level, CACs have to be ordered, and then when they're in, they're inventoried, they're logged within a system, and then they are secured in a locked environment within the region. And then this group of individuals has to issue out CACs to DAP members, caseworkers, anyone who's going to be issuing direct client assistance to individuals who need assistance. So this individual is responsible for not only ordering and securing those financial instruments, but also for accounting of the instruments on inventory control logs. That means ensuring that the CACs that are issued to one individual are accurately notated within an inventory control log, and again, monitoring that log for regular access and accuracy throughout the time period. They're also responsible for ensuring that any CACs that are transferred from person to person have the appropriate documentation notated within the inventory control log. And this person is also responsible for, on a rotating regular basis, ensuring those inventories are kept up to speed. And at any one time, they know where all the CACs are, who they're checked out to. They have signatures on file from those volunteers and workers who have those CACs, and they're all maintained within the inventory control log. Function 3, this is where this is our primary work of our DAP members, our caseworkers, the individuals that are going out into the field, opening up cases on families that have been impacted by disasters. This is where the majority of our workers fall within the fiscal controls. So as you see here, everyone who works within our client assistance program has a function within these controls. The majority of the people fit within Function 3, which is the performance of casework and direct client assistance disbursements. Going out to the scene, opening cases, providing assistance. So within this, these workers make sure if you're part of Function 3, you have to make sure that your casework's being entered within a timely manner, that you have your cases entered ideally in the field, via a smartphone, a computer with internet access, or calling that into somebody at the time of the response, having them enter that information in virtually. If that can't happen, then ensuring that information is entered in within 24 hours. Also within this process, you have to ensure that all the fields are completed. The narrative is in, the casework really is complete, and then also within this process is the casework is reviewed by a supervisor. Again, this function ensures that all the required fields within CAS 2.0 are filled out, the disbursements are accurately notated, all within the appropriate time frames outlined within our financial fiscal controls document. Function 4 is the management of function 3. So fewer people are in function 4 than obviously are in function 3. If function 3 is where our largest number of people are. Function 4, again, separate people. So if you're in function 4, if you're managing if you're involved in the management of casework, monitoring of assistance, performing fiscal reviews. You can't be part of Function 1, so you can't do anything with CAS user access. You can't control CAC inventories. You can't actually conduct casework activities because, again, there cannot be, you can't be involved in more than one function. So the Function 4 involves the management of Function 3, which is ensuring that our assistance is up to speed, that everything's entered again correctly, that ensures that our fiscal reviews are completed within 48 hours of the incident. And it's important here that a method for independent verification is noted in the narrative. So when we go out on a fire, we have to ensure that the fire is being independently verified. This is a protection measure for our disaster assessment teams, for our volunteers that are opening cases. It's also a good control for the organization to ensure that we that we can verify that the assistance that we are providing is actually going to a verified disaster client. So this independent verification should be notated in the narrative and completed by that fiscal reviewer. And some methods for verifying the independently verifying the fire involve that fiscal reviewer actually calling the fire department, asking them that on this date and this time, can they verify that there was a fire at this address, those types of things. There's several other methods for independent verification that are notated in the guidance, but again, the independent verification process falls within Function 4 of the fiscal controls. Function 5 involves compliance. This is where this individual or individuals who are involved in the Function 5 component have to review the monthly finance report. So every month, our Disaster Services Finance issues a report for each region that has all the casework located on them, and they identify issues within sort of the region's cases, whether there is a separation of duty issue, whether if there's one person that opened that responded and also loaded cards and also reviewed and closed that case. So if somebody loaded the card, opened the case, and then closed the case, those are separation of duty type issues. So that will be notated in the financial report. Other types of high case average numbers, those will be notated in the report. So this the person who's responsible for compliance reviews this report, looks over the cases, pulls individual cases within CAS 2.0, and then if there's any unusual activity, we'll notify the division regarding that unusual activity. So finally, as we round out our fiscal controls, we were talking about Function 6. Function 6 is oversight and audit, and this is done at the division level, and this is general spot checks. So it's spot checks on each of the other controls to ensure that we have consistency and that each control is being followed. So whether it's pulling individual cases, to look at the fields, make sure they're filled out, the narratives are completed, to ensure that the CAS accounts are being activated and deactivated accordingly. Same thing that the inventory logs are being appropriately kept for CACs. This is again just that conducting spot checks, ensuring that there is overall oversight over the fiscal controls within individual regions. And if there is suspicious activity, then the Function 6 individual will work with Finance and the Office of Investigations, Compliance, and Ethics to review cases with any unusual activity. So as we round out the conversation regarding our fiscal controls, there is more information on this in the fiscal controls document. You can find it on the Exchange. Just go to the Exchange and do a search for fiscal controls. You'll find the document there that highlights in greater detail each of these different functions. The key important thing is that we have to ensure that all regions are following completely to the letter the fiscal controls, and that there are no separation of duties issues. Again, meaning that one person cannot perform more than one function within the fiscal controls. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch this short video, and have a good day.